Good morning and happy Tuesday. Today is the 17th day of May, and this is the seventh episode already. Already the seventh episode, already a weekend to season 4 of the Be Your Own Hero show. Hero is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. And I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I am a professional creative, and I am highlighting the fact that I'm an author and a speaker right now. I'm also the creator of the Hero Ministry movement, and that is my effort to uplift and inspire people in general, and specifically the unhoused community. So that said, join me here Monday through Friday to hear me talk about my journey of becoming my own financial hero. And shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me the space and the opportunity to be here and talk about my journey of becoming my own hero. That said, I am not a personal trainer nor my financial advisor, so do your own due diligence. Take what I say with a grain of salt. All that said, let's get into it. So there's a few things I want to talk about. It's funny, I had some things I wanted to talk about, and then some new things came up. So I'm going to see if I can get it all in. Let's see, shall we? All right, so morning, Nan. Thanks for popping in. So let's do the run streak first, as usual. So today is day 351. I've been running every day, at least a mile a day for now 351 consecutive days in a row. Yesterday was day 350, and I felt that one. I felt that one in my spirit. 350 days consecutively, 0 days off. Yeah, I have impressed myself. I'm becoming my own hero, which is the theme of the show. So that said, today's day 351, and I just wanted to highlight the stats clearly in case I didn't do that yesterday. So it is 351 days of me running consecutively every single day, at least a mile a day. And of those days, I've only run 3 days indoors. All the rest of the days have been outside in the elements, no matter what the elements are in the morning. And in the process, I've raised over $7,000 with the help of the Hero Nation, $7,000 that has been donated to 10 different charities. And I've run in 11 different cities, and I've run more than 1,000 miles. So those are all the stats thus far. Once again, I still haven't added up my miles since I hit 1,000. Once I hit 1,000, I was like, I don't even care what it is. It's over 1,000, but I will add it up soon to see where I stand, just out of curiosity. All right, so that's where we are. That said, I don't know if I said this out loud, but I've been holding on to my half marathon medal. I've been keeping it over here and not hanging it up on the medal tree because I wanted to wait until the GoFundMe was fully funded for Brown Boys Read. So now the GoFundMe for Brown Boys Read is fully funded. The donation has been made. The social media is out there, so I can hang this medal up. Because for those of you just joining us, I attached my mileage for the half marathon to a fundraiser for Brown Boys Read, which is now complete. So I will be hanging this today. I wasn't going to do it live, but it might get awkward. It might take longer than I expected to take. So tomorrow you should expect to see this behind me. And just to give you a closer look, it's a man with a guitar, and then it says half marathon. Okay, that's the rock and roll half marathon. That said, GoFundMe reached out to me again, which I thought was strange because the campaign is complete now. It's fully funded, but they want to talk to me today. So let's see what's going to happen with GoFundMe. I'll keep you posted. All right, moving on. Just another note about the ticket. I did donate a ticket to Project Love Strong's first gala. It is the Change for Change gala coming up on Saturday. It's themed a Monte Carlo casino type thing, and it's their first fundraiser. I have donated to Project Love Strong through my charity run, and some of the other nonprofits that they'll be honoring, I've donated to them as well. So that'll be very cool. And I gave away a ticket. I just wanted to clarify, it was not free to me. I paid for the ticket and then gave it away. And this, I can talk about here, is part of my abundance training. It's part of my abundance training, being able to pay for something and then give it away, right? That's all the way back to mindset, creating the mindset of abundance, creating an abundance mindset, ongoing all the time. And I purchased it with that intention. I purchased it to give it away. And it turns out that the woman who got it, her name is Heather. She was really excited about it. She really wanted to attend the event, but couldn't afford it. And so now she'll be in the house. All right. So I'm excited to have done that for a perfect stranger. And I guess I'll meet her on Saturday. All right. Moving on. So dice roll challenge. Last week was $16 for the whole week. If you're keeping track and you missed out, just donate. I don't know why I keep wanting to use the word donate. Maybe I feel like you're donating to yourself. You know, it feels softer than investing. I mean, that's what we're doing, but it just, I don't know, feels a little warmer than investing. So anyway, donate to yourself $16 from last week. And for today, well, what did we have yesterday? Yesterday was 2. And today's number is Dice Roll Challenge. Here we go. I feel like I really need a sound effect to be happening while I do this. But anyway, here we go. Dice Roll Challenge 4. Number for today is 4. For yesterday was 2. So take $4 out of circulation and move it someplace else, into your money jar, into your savings account, into your Roth IRA. Just take it out of circulation so that it can be earmarked for investing specifically. All right, zipping on down the list to Morning Zen. So again, I'm so surprised and excited about how well the Get Rich 101 podcast is doing. So for those of you who haven't checked it out, go check it out. My point is there's a reason it's doing well. It's doing well because it's good information. So let me see if I can find it while I talk. But it's good information. So it's excellent for helping shift your mindset around wealth and abundance. So if you haven't checked it out yet, please do. There it is on depending upon which way you're looking, on the left side of the screen, Get Rich 101. It's available on all the podcasting platforms. You can just sit and listen to it while you do other things. And the point of me bringing this up, however, was to say once again that I can't believe that it's in 41 countries. And thanks for all the congratulations yesterday. I checked the chat after the show closed, and I appreciate all the people in the Hero Nation that gave me congratulations for that. I am shocked myself. I need to maybe I'll do that one day. I'll list all the countries that it's in, because you'll be like, what? It's where? Yeah. It's in some very interesting places. So anyway, moving on. So today's reading comes from the book that I've mentioned a couple times here before recently, How to Solve All Your Money Problems Forever. Let me just hold up the book. Can you see that? How to Solve All Your Money Problems Forever. This is by Victor Bach, BOC, international bestseller. And I am piecemealing my way through this book. Apparently I've read it before because I see all the highlighting in there. But as you know, sometimes you got to read something multiple times for it to really sink in. So today's reading comes from this book. And here we go. This is very short but powerful. Most of us go through life not knowing what we want, but feeling darn sure we don't have it. Most of us go through life not knowing what we want, but feeling darn sure we don't have it. Right? That kind of feeling of discontent and ill-ease, and you want something, but you don't know what it is. That's that feeling that he's talking about. And the solution to that feeling is to know specifically what you want, not generally, not vaguely, but specifically. And I know I gave you guys some homework over the weekend. We're going to talk about that in a minute, so that we can get specific about what we want, so that we can manifest what we want. So that's the morning reading from my Morning Zen. And let's use this as a segue, actually. What I just read is about specificity. But the book as a whole, How to Solve All Your Money Problems Forever, sounds like it's going to be a book about money. And it is, but it's about mindset first and foremost, which takes me back to my point that I've made a couple times. You can't skip the mindset part. Trust me, I've tried. You can't skip over the mindset part and just get to the money. It doesn't work like that. You need the mindset as a bridge to get to the money, to get to the wealth, to get to the abundance. One and then the other. Mindset and then money. You can't skip it. So for those of you watching the show thinking like, I'm just trying to figure out how to get the funds together, it's the mindset first. That is what paves the way. All right, so I'm going to use that as a segue. I'm going to do the affirmation first, and then I'm going to tell you why I just said what I said about mindset. So affirmation, let's get to it. Where's our affirmation? We're going to do this twice with feeling. I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. And one more time, feel it in your bones. I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. All right, for those of you who've been watching the show regularly, you shouldn't even need to look at the words anymore. You should have it memorized, know it in your spirit, and just be able to recite it and add your own feeling. The feeling is the secret sauce. Not the words, not the repetition of the words, but the feeling that you imbue it with. That is what will help it manifest in real life. Okay, so quick reminder, if you only spend, you will stay poor. That's consumerism, folks. If you only spend, you will stay poor. And it's no accident that we've all been socialized to be consumers. Just saying. If you only spend, you'll stay poor. If you only save, you'll stay middle class. You're not going to gain any ground. You're going to stay right where you are. If you want to be wealthy, if you want to be financially independent, you must invest. It's not optional. It's presented out there in the world often as optional. It's not. Not if you want to be financially independent. Okay, so let me tell you why I was just talking about mindset again. First of all, I already said it. You can't get to where you're trying to go without mindset. Mindset is the key. But I love the fact that so many people are sending me things about money these days, sending me things, asking me questions. I get emails, texts, all these things, which is just fascinating for me because pre-pandemic, what did I know about wealth and abundance and finance? Nothing. I certainly didn't know anything about it, wasn't talking about it. And now to be in this space, a short period of time later where people are sending me financial information is fascinating to me. But let me not sidebar. The point is, just today, while I was out on my run, day 351, someone texted me a YouTube video about wealth and abundance. And just yesterday, someone asked me a question offline, not on the show. So I want to address both of those. And then if we have time, I want to circle back to the Baby Steps Millionaire thing that I've been talking about, the book that was written by Dave Ramsey. And that person, Dave Ramsey, was introduced to me by following Anthony O'Neill. So if we got time, we'll get back to that. But let me tell you about these two different things that were sent to me and how they have to do with mindset. Well, the YouTube has to do with mindset, and we'll talk about that. Let's talk about the other one first. So the question that was asked of me yesterday is, what's the difference between, well, actually, that's not how it was asked. It was asked in this way: is the Fortune 500 and the S&P 500 the same thing? Is the Fortune? Oh, let's do a quiz. Let's do a pop quiz. I'm asking you now. Don't Google it. Don't Google it. Is the Fortune 500 and the S&P 500 the same thing? Drop that in the chat. Okay, drop that in the chat. While you're dropping that in the chat, I'll talk about the other thing and come back. Okay? So, once again, the question is the Fortune 500 and the S&P 500 the same thing? Don't Google it, but put it in the chat. Yes or no? And then, as you're doing that, I'll talk about something else that was sent to me. So the YouTube video that was sent to me is a YouTube video of Magic Johnson talking about money he missed out on in the stock market. And it's fascinating for a lot of reasons, but I don't want to say what my reasons are. This is going to be a chat heavy show. We're going to answer this question about the S&P 500 versus the Fortune 500. And then when I play the video, I want you to say what stands out for you. What stands out for you? And I'm going to tell you what stands out for me. All right? All right, so let's check the chat. Let's see what we rocking with. All right. So Linda's saying yes, Fortune 500 and the S&P 500 is the same. Tim is saying no. Gladys is saying not the same. All right, we're gonna answer that in a second. But first, we're gonna watch this Magic Johnson video, and as it plays, or after it plays, you tell me what stands out for you. It's very short, it's like 60 seconds. So let me get this queued up, and you tell me what stands out for you about this video. Here we go.
That kills me every single time I think about it.
Magic Johnson literally had $5.2 billion in front of him, but he fumbled the bag. It's 1979. Every shoe company wanted a piece of a young Magic, and he had it narrowed down to two: Converse or Nike. Converse offered Magic $100K per year. Nike, on the other hand, couldn't match that number. So they offered him $1 for every pair of shoes sold, and they packaged it with $100,000 in Nike stocks. But for someone who wasn't into stocks, Magic went with the cash and signed with Converse. It made sense at the time, but HBO show's Winning Time estimated that those Nike stocks are now worth a whopping $5.2 billion. Magic did well for himself anyway, but still.
I would have been a trillionaire by now. You think about in 1979, getting that stock then, and what it's worth today, yikes! So that kills me every single time I think about it.
Magic Johnson literally had $5.2 billion in front of him, but he...
Okay, so quick video, great production values, right? Great production values on that short video. All the movements and memes and stuff. Anyway, so we're back. Nan is saying also that she doesn't think the S&P 500 and the Fortune 500 are the same. Okay, so let's talk about that first while you're processing the Magic Johnson video. So for those of you that don't know, one of the things that's included in me being a professional creative is journalist. I've been a journalist for a while. I've attended a number of journalism workshops, won some scholarships, done a whole big, long career in journalism, right? So I can tell you something that's kind of behind the scenes. So there's some things that look like they're empirical to the general public that are actually editorial. What I mean by that is it seems like it's factual information, but honestly, it's just the magazine presenting opinion. Now, I don't want to go too far off on the sidebar, so let me answer the question. The Fortune 500 is actually an editorial product, meaning it is the product of Fortune magazine. See, the name of it makes it sound like it's the Fortune 500. It's like it's something out there in the world. No, it is specific to Fortune magazine. It's called the Fortune 500 because Fortune created it. But if it was Ebony that created it, it would be the Ebony 500, right? So it's an editorial. What's that widget called? Well, an editorial widget, as opposed to an empirical widget. Now it's based on empirical information. Like they pull lots of stats, information, the annual revenue, most notably, and other things. But I can say from someone who has worked at many magazines and many editorial places, you can't underestimate the impact of advertising dollars on editorial. Yeah, there's supposed to be a separation of church and state, but in real life terms, there's a lot of influence on editorial from people who advertise. Just like in politics, when they have lobbying, it's like that. So that said, the Fortune 500 is an editorial product of Fortune magazine. They created this list. They curate this list every year where they figure out the annual revenue of these companies, and they decide which companies they're going to be and how they're going to be ranked. And because it's an editorial product, they can do whatever they want with it. Like they can rearrange things, or if someone is a really big advertiser, they could put a little, gold box around that particular person. I'm not saying that's what they do. I'm just saying that editorial products must be taken with a grain of salt. I know this from personal experience from behind the scenes. That said, the S&P 500 is much more empirical. Like it is financial information. It is a financial product. And those two products sometimes overlap, but not always. Like there may be some companies on Fortune's list of 500 top companies that overlap the S&P 500, but not necessarily. A very big distinction is all of the companies on the S&P 500 are publicly traded. All of them, 100%. You can buy stock in any of those 500 companies. The Fortune 500 list, however, is a list based generally on annual revenue. So some of them will be public and some of them will be private, right? So for our purposes here, we are not interested in the editorial product of Fortune magazine. As impressive as it sounds, we are only interested in the 500 companies that we know we can buy stock in and therefore participate in the wealth generation of the well-to-do and be a participant in that experience. So that said, the S&P 500, just as a reminder, I like to think of it as a bucket. Ooh, let's go back to the store. It's a store filled with 500 different companies. These companies have to at least have a market cap, a minimum market cap of $10 billion each. So these are massive companies, really big. And there are all these other criteria that they have to meet to be a part of the S&P 500. And if they fall short, they get kicked out and someone else gets rotated in. So it's a managed list. It's a curated list, right? Now, that said, you can buy the S&P 500 from several different smaller stores. They sell financial products that cover the S&P 500. The SPY, for example, is the ticker symbol for Standard & Poor's product that covers the S&P 500. VOO is another ticker symbol for Vanguard's product that covers the S&P 500. And there'll be slight price variations depending upon who you buy your index fund from. But they all reflect the same thing. They all reflect these 500 companies in the S&P 500. So you can do that. You could buy the whole thing, or you could buy individual shares of the individual companies in the S&P 500. Of course, it might take you a while because it's 500 companies. But still, as we know, just from watching the news, the S&P 500 is mentioned all the time. Right? It is one of the standard bearers of the economy. Is the Dow doing well? Is the S&P 500 doing well? Then the economy is doing well, right? So that's the difference. So from now on, when you hear Fortune 500, think editorial. It's basically an article. It's basically an article. But the S&P 500 is empirical information. And also, it's very important to note that if a company falls short, it does get rotated out. So as far as going into a store and shopping, like this is the aisle with the prime grade A steak. This is it. All these steaks, the S&P 500. Okay, so all that said, let's see. Let's see what's in the chat about Magic Johnson. Okay, class made me laugh. Magic missed the investment boat. Yeah, he sure did. He sure did. And Linda's saying, I love learning new things. I think you're talking about the Fortune 500 and S&P 500, Linda. Yeah, it's a very important distinction to make, editorial versus empirical. Anyway, so Magic Johnson, let's talk about this, shall we? Okay, so obviously, as Gladys said, he missed the boat. But there's so much to unpack there from that 60-second video based upon what we know now. So speaking for myself, based upon what I know now, just turning off my alarm. So this is good timing. So if I had seen that before the pandemic, before the Be Your Own Hero show, I just would have been stuck on how much money it is. $5.2 billion for a single person, like not a country, not a company, a single person can be worth that much. That's where I would have stayed stuck. But having learned all that I've learned in the course of this show, there are other things that come up for me, like mindset. Here we go, full circle, back to the book. I struggle with this title. It's such a simple title, but How to Solve All Your Money Problems Forever. How to Solve All Your Money Problems Forever. So I said it's about mindset. And I've also said that my podcast is me reading the book Think and Grow Rich. The Science of Getting Rich, which doesn't sound like it's about mindset, but it is. It's all about mindset. So when this offer was made to Magic, he did not have the mindset to see what was being offered to him in a constructive way. Like, you just saw him react to it after the fact, but we all know that hindsight is 20/20. Now, Magic is a seasoned investor. He understands stock. But at the time that it was offered to him, he didn't understand it. So he just ignored what he didn't understand. And this is why it's so important to build mindset around wealth and abundance, because the more you understand, the better decisions you can make about what's on the table. So, for example, like let's go back to 1979. They made him this offer, right? They're offering him $1 per shoe plus, well, I guess $1 per pair of sneakers sold plus stock option, right? One question he could have asked, or asked his people to ask, is Nike part of the S&P 500? Oh, what? Right? We just talked about the S&P 500 a few seconds ago, right? It would be very pertinent information to know if Nike is part of the S&P 500. Now, I'm not sure if they were or not. I don't know. But I'm just saying that's a question you can ask if you have educated yourself about wealth, about finance, about abundance, if your mindset has evolved. Another question you could have asked is it part of the Dow? Is it part of the Dow? By the way, Nike is a part of the Dow. It is one of the 30 companies that make up the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Incredible, right? One of 30. Mind you, in all fairness, it was not part of the Dow in 1979. It only became a part of the Dow in 2013. But still, being able to ask that question means that you are aware of other pieces of information that can help you make this decision, right? Like, is it a part of the S&P 500? Is it a part of the Dow? These are questions that help you make an educated choice. And this is pertinent to us because these are the kinds of questions that we can ask. These are the kinds of things that we can explore. Because yes, they made this offer to Magic Johnson based on who he was, but it's publicly traded, which means it's available to you and I. Like, you and I can go get Nike stock. And we now know, because I just said it right now, the Nike is one of the Dow components. And it's less than $200 per share. I think it's 100 and something. Like, yeah, I mean, it's Nike. And it's one of the Dow components. I'm going to get it for sure. Because as you know, if you've been watching the show, I'm on this quest to buy all 30 stocks in the Dow because it's only 30 stocks. Like, to me, that's a no-brainer. They talk about the Dow all the time. It is the thing, aside from the S&P 500, that determines the health of the economy. So anyway, it's all about mindset. It's all about abundance. It's all about knowing what you're talking about. So I think I might talk about Magic Johnson again tomorrow. Actually, homework. What else comes up for you thinking about that video? Like, let's do it again tomorrow. Let's talk about what else comes up for you in terms of Magic Johnson. All right, yes, Linda, asking the right questions is important in any learning experience, any learning process. It's true. You got to know what you're doing. Okay, so it's time for prayer time at 10:15, and then it's time for Sit with Rev Melissa at 10:30. So until tomorrow, keep doing, be a hero, be your own financial hero. Remember that now is better than perfect. And homework, think about Magic Johnson and what else you learned from that experience. And we're going to circle back to the homework from the weekend from the book about being clear about what you want. All right, I will see you mañana. Later.